A lengthy legal war between the two former lovers atop the nation's largest translation company has finally come to an end after the Delaware Supreme Court upheld a lower court decision that TransPerfect co-CEO Phil Shawe could buy out founding partner Liz Elting. "We find it evident that the final judgment of the Court of Chancery should be affirmed," wrote Justice Collins Seitz Jr. in a May 3 ruling. The chancellor rose above the unjustified personal attacks on his integrity, and patiently and thoroughly addressed each issue raised in this bitter dispute. That court order only hinted at the ferocity of the brawl between Shawe and Elting that slogged on for 4 years, as long as the American Civil War. Their feud unleashed a tsunami of litigation ensnaring the ex-couple, their advisors and longtime colleagues, and even Shawe's mother, who sued Elting's husband. All told, there were at least 20 lawsuits involving 30 law firms and $250 million worth of combined legal fees for all the parties involved, people close to the matter said. Although Elting lost her company, she walked away with a $385 million consolation prize. That's the amount she was paid last week for her 50% stake in Manhattan-based TransPerfect, which has more than $600 million in annual revenue and 4,000 employees, who provide translation services, such as localizing websites for global companies. The storm has now passed. Elting and Shawe launched TransPerfect in 1992 out of their New York University dorm room and were briefly engaged to be married before Elting called it off in 1997. They both married others but continued working together and built a highly successful business. Years of internal bickering blew open in 2014, when they sued each other for mismanagement and malfeasance. One reason the ensuing legal fight was so long and bitter, experts said, is they never made plans for how one might acquire the other's shares in the event of a falling out. Despite the fury at the top, TransPerfect's business was apparently unaffected, giving its founders ample resources to hammer each other in court. In 2015, a Delaware judge ordered the deadlocked partners to sell their firm. Elting teamed up with Blackstone Group to make a bid, and the private equity owner of TransPerfect's top rival offered the most money. But a court-appointed referee awarded the company to Shawe, reasoning that he would preserve more jobs. Elting sued to block the sale, but last week she threw in the towel after the Delaware Supreme Court ruling. Phil Kaufman, an attorney for Elting, declined to comment publicly. In a May 10 email to employees, Shawe wrote, "I am beyond ecstatic, humbled, inspired and grateful to announce that this past week, the greatest storm of challenge and adversity that TransPerfect has ever known has now passed." He said in an interview that he looks forward to rebuilding business halted by the legal dispute. The first shots in the long war were fired in May 2014, when Elting sued Shawe, alleging, among other charges, that he drank too much at office parties, an accusation she later withdrew. Shawe fired back with a suit claiming Elting had kicked him with her stiletto-heeled shoe during an office argument, resulting in injuries. The fight soon spread to family members. In 2016, Shawe's mother, who had been granted a 1% stake so TransPerfect could qualify as a women-owned business, sued Elting's husband. Surely Shawe alleged Michael Berland, a Cushman. Even lawyers for the feuding partners were drawn into the fight. Shawe sued Elting's lawyers at Kramer Love and Naftala's. Shawe described the latter matter as a fee dispute, and said it's been resolved. Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz jumped into the spectacle last year to counsel the Shawes. The TV pundit appeared during the summer at a mock court where panelists picked by Shawe agreed he should prevail in his fight. Shawe threw a party for TransPerfect employees after the hearing at a hotel overlooking the Brooklyn Bridge, and Snoop Dogg performed in the wee hours of the morning. Judges who tried to sort out the mess repeatedly threw up their hands in frustration. In the summer, an exasperated New York State judge declared, "It is time for the saga to end," and scolded the adversaries for further depleting the court's time and resources. After a Delaware Chancery judge decreed Shawe would win the war for TransPerfect, he said his fervent hope was that both sides would accept his decision, so that all concerned can move on with their lives.